Welcome back to Netrush Report, where rivalries, comebacks, and emotional stories turn tennis into something much bigger than just a game. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because this story of anger, irony, and redemption might just change how you see Nick Kyrgios forever. It was supposed to be routine. Marc Polmans, a talented but often fiery Australian, was 1 point away from qualifying for the Shanghai Masters main draw. The tension was high, the kind of high you can feel through a television screen. He approached the net. A simple volley, a chance to close it out. And then, disaster. He hit it straight into the net. Match point lost. In that split second, his entire composure shattered. Polmans swung his racket and tried to smash the ball away in frustration, a move so many players do instinctively. But instead of sending it harmlessly skyward, the ball flew straight into the face of umpire Ben Anderson. The crowd gasped. Anderson clutched his cheek and nose. Silence spread through the court like a wave. Polmans froze. He hadn't meant it, but intent didn't matter. Rules are rules. Within moments, the umpire called for the supervisor. And then came the verdict that would define Polmans' year. The footage hit social media like wildfire. Clips spread across X, Instagram, and TikTok. Comments poured in, some calling for a lifetime ban, others defending him as just emotional. But one tweet stood out from all the noise. It came from Nick Kyrgios, the man who once smashed rackets, cursed at umpires, and fought his own demons under the global spotlight, was now watching from the outside. He wrote simply, interested to see what the fine will be. It was sharp, it was cold, and it was dripping with irony, because no one knows fines and punishments better than Kyrgios. Flashback to 2018. Queen's Club Championships. Kyrgios made headlines not for his tennis, but for shaking a water bottle suggestively. The video went viral. The fine? £13,000. 12 months later, same tournament, same chaos. Kyrgios accused a line judge of rigging the game, then blasted a ball off the court in frustration. Result? Another £13,766 in fines. He became the poster child for tennis rebellion. But deep down, Kyrgios wasn't just lashing out. He was crying out. In interviews years later, he admitted that during that time, he was struggling with mental health battles, loneliness, and the pressure of being called the bad boy of tennis. He said, I hated myself. I hated waking up. I was trapped. So when Kyrgios saw Polmans, another Australian, another player boiling over, he recognized something deeper than just a moment of rage. He saw a reflection. Hours after the incident, Polmans broke his silence. He didn't make excuses. He didn't argue the rule. Instead, he apologized, publicly and privately. He posted on social media, the umpire, Ben, has accepted my apology for my actions. He knows it was unintentional, and I shanked the ball in frustration in the heat of the moment. We both move on. But the damage was done. The ADP stripped him of all ranking points and prize money. From a career high of world number 140, Polmans began a free fall, down to number 442 within a year. And in the cruelest twist of fate, he became a symbol, not of talent, but of temper. When Kyrgios said, interested to see what the fine will be, it wasn't just a jab. It was layered. It was the sound of a man who has lived through every fine, every boo, every tabloid headline. And maybe, just maybe, it was a little personal. Because Kyrgios has been fighting his own redemption arc. After battling injuries for nearly 3 years, missing major tournaments, watching others rise while he healed, Kyrgios has turned into something unexpected. A commentator of tennis chaos. He's not the one breaking rackets anymore. He's the one commenting on them. There's something poetic about it. Nick Kyrgios, the player who once called chair umpires tools, who tanked matches, who smashed rackets mid-rally, is now the voice of reason when someone else loses control. Over the past few years, we've seen glimpses of a man who's grown. He's spoken candidly about his depression. He's used his platform to raise awareness about mental health in sport. And he's been brutally honest about his past mistakes. He once said in an interview, when I was at my worst, I didn't care if I lived or died. Tennis saved me, but it also broke me. So when Polmans cracked under pressure, Kyrgios didn't just see a mistake. He saw what happens when emotion meets expectation. The fine, the disqualification, the viral outrage. They were all familiar beats in a story Kyrgios knows by heart. But let's take a step back. Why does this keep happening in tennis? Why do players, from McEnroe to Kyrgios to Polmans, snap under pressure? Tennis is an individual's war. You're alone on that court. No teammates, no coach, no timeout. Every mistake echoes in your mind. Every bad call feels personal. The sport rewards perfection and punishes imperfection brutally. 1 point, 1 call, 1 bad bounce, and your whole tournament collapses. And for players on the fringe, like Polmans, grinding through qualifiers just to earn ranking points, the pressure is tenfold. They don't have millions in sponsorships or massive entourages. They play for survival. So when he missed that volley, Polmans wasn't just losing a match. He was losing opportunity, income, momentum. And when the frustration boiled over, the system punished him, not just for the act, but for daring to lose control. Kyrgios hasn't competed at the Shanghai Masters since 2018, when he lost in the first round to Bradley Clan. Since then, injuries and personal battles have kept him off the court. But he's still watching, still analyzing, still the center of attention, even when he's not playing. When Jannik Sinner beat Novak Djokovic in straight sets to win the 2024 Shanghai Masters, Kyrgios tweeted his admiration. But days later, the Polmans incident brought him right back into the spotlight. Some fans called him a hypocrite for commenting. Others saw him as the only person qualified to comment, because he knows what that anger feels like. The truth? Kyrgios is both the cautionary tale and the comeback story. As if that wasn't enough, Kyrgios stirred headlines again shortly after the Shanghai chaos, this time with a bold proposal. On the Tea with Bublik podcast, alongside Alexander Bublik, Kyrgios suggested a battle of the sexes match against world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka. He said, "Sabalenka is awesome. She's such a character. I think she genuinely believes she can win." The internet exploded. Fans debated for weeks. Could the fiery Australian really take on the dominant Belarusian? Reports suggested the match could happen in Hong Kong in January 2026. Though Sabalenka later said the details were still undecided. And while it might sound like another Kyrgios stunt, there's a deeper thread here. Kyrgios wants to be relevant, not for controversy, but for creativity. He wants to entertain, to stay connected to a sport that both made and scarred him. Meanwhile, Polmans continues to rebuild. He's been working quietly on the challenger circuit, staying out of headlines, staying humble. In recent interviews, he's shown remorse, but also reflection. He admitted that the incident changed him, that it made him understand how fast things can spiral when emotion takes over. He said, "One moment of frustration can undo months of work. I learned that the hard way." The irony? Polmans once admired Kyrgios for his raw authenticity, but he ended up becoming a warning from the same playbook. Nick Kyrgios and Marc Polmans are at different stages of their careers, but their stories mirror each other in fascinating ways. Both are Australians. Both are emotional, misunderstood, and often vilified. Both have been punished harshly for moments of rage. And both have faced the choice. Let it define you, or learn from it. Kyrgios seems to be finding redemption through maturity, commentary, and reflection. Polmans is searching for it through humility and perseverance. And together, they remind us that in tennis, emotion is both a weapon and a wound. What makes Kyrgios' response so captivating is not the sarcasm. It's the irony that the man who once embodied chaos is now questioning it. It's growth in its most unpredictable form. The tennis world has long debated how to handle player outbursts. Should fines increase? Should mental health support be prioritized? Should there be leniency for emotional moments? Every generation has its rebels. McEnroe had his tantrums. Safin smashed rackets for fun. Serena, Djokovic, and Zverev have all faced penalties for outbursts. But Kyrgios changed the conversation because he showed us the person behind the rage. In many ways, Kyrgios' brutal tweet wasn't cruelty. It was catharsis. It was the voice of a man who finally sees his past clearly, who knows that punishment alone doesn't fix behavior. Understanding does. He's not laughing at Polmans. He's warning him. A few years ago, Kyrgios might have reacted with mockery or silence. But this time, he used reflection. And that's what makes this story so powerful. Neither man competed in the 2025 Shanghai Masters. Kyrgios continues to recover and tease exhibition matches, while Polmans rebuilds on lower-tier events. But both remain symbols of tennis emotional truth. Because